office space like this can help to attract people and to give them that homecoming feeling. It's what we wanted. Most of them were like, oh.
Hi, I'm Katja from Space Refinery and welcome to Ahead of the Curve. Today I'm going to sit down with Crosspoint Solutions. To get started, I would love to know what is Crosspoint for people who don't know.
Crosspoint is a subsidiary of Kronos Group, situated in Conti. We specialize in, on the one side, creating companies, and from a technological point of view, we focus on doing data projects in different technologies, we work together with different vendors, and we create data solutions for our customers. We're a group of around 900 people, divided in sub-companies.
How would you describe maybe the culture in some words? Comes to mind?
There are actually no cross-pointers. We're subdivided in companies, and every company has their own culture, their own way of working. But they're situated under the umbrella of Crosspoint. So we have more of a facilitating role towards those, what I call daughter companies. The people working there is a variety of people, depending on the technology and the projects they implement. Most are IT people, but we see a shift last years towards also engineering people and people with a more business background. We are open, we like transparency, we'd like to co-create, facilitate and help people grow in their professional career in every direction that they choose. We have a flat structure. People here may, between brackets, choose what they do, because we believe that by letting people do what they are good at and they like to do, that they can accelerate and excellate in what they do.
I wanted to backtrack to 2020 when you started to think about changing your previous office. So could you kind of take us through what were the triggers, or what were the reasons where it became urgent and you said, okay, we just gotta change?
We were looking into a new office for already 2-3 years in the vicinity of where we're sitting now. We looked at a few buildings in which we didn't have to do a lot of work, but it didn't feel like what we wanted, it didn't look like what we wanted. So eventually we took the decision, also because of Corona, to reinvent our current office where we were sitting. Before, it was an office in which we had some kind of islands per subsidiary, per daughter company. And we wanted to change that. We wanted to go to what it is now, which is a meeting place, a post-corona office space where people come to co-create, come to meet, rather than only come here to work. Since the war of talent, or for talent, we think that an office space like this can help to attract people and to give them that homecoming feeling.
Absolutely.
And that's what
Has
we
it been working?
tried.
Have you had already experience, people coming through the door and they feel at home here?
If we show pictures of how it looks like, they all always say, "Oh wow, this looks nice, and I like to work here, and it looks it invites to come here." So I think it's a success, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So I will now talk a bit about the approach. So when you decided, okay, we have to change, what were your first steps? What were you thinking about? How did you get this big project started from your side?
We took on board a project manager who looked into the market, who saw different people, and who made the decision with us. We wanted to have somebody to work with where the feeling was mutually good, where there was a click, like we say in Dutch, in what we wanted, how we wanted it, and it could be translated into the reality. As the project went through, we saw in phases how it was building up, and we got a good feeling with it. Yeah. So we were very satisfied with the result. The daughter companies are also very satisfied with the result.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We were a little bit afraid that they were going to miss their own spot.
But let's talk about that, because that's really interesting. They were used to having their own little corner with their own little furniture and some branding elements. Yeah. And now indeed they're just really part of something bigger. And so how is it working?
Yeah, the change management was put into place very, very okay, like we do it on customer sites also. Yes. So we took them along, the managing partners along, through the complete process of the implementation of the new site, or the new reinventation actually of the building. And by taking them along and looking into the change management process also, we got them on board actually without a problem, which I was a little bit afraid of, but that's because I'm not that change management minded, perhaps.
No, but it's a valid fear to have if you want to bring something good for your people, but it's quite different from what they had that they maybe liked. So
and they imitated a little bit now, because we have a reservation app in which they can reserve space and an office. And if you look now, after a few months, you see that the same people are always sitting on the same chairs.
Yes, that's very common.
But not on the same days. So you see there's a nice mixture of reservations. And if I look on a global perspective, you see that all the people come back to the office, but on separate times. So it's what we wanted.
Let's maybe talk about if there are any other things that you wanted to accomplish with the office. Like when we were just starting, were there any other things on your mind that would be important?
For me, the homecoming feeling was the most important. It had to look good regarding colors, regarding installation. We wanted plants, we wanted an aquarium.
Can we maybe think about what wasn't here before? Like, is there some space, perhaps an area that you now really enjoy, but you didn't have that before?
Yeah, we created some kind of gaming room in which we have a kicker in which we're going to install
with
PS5.
A closed door, so
with a closed door, so it doesn't disturb the rest. We wanted phone booths, which we also have, because before the sales guys were walking around in the corridor phoning all the time, which disturbed the other people.
Yeah, they walk away not to disturb, and then they disturb everyone.
Yeah, we had an open space, more or less, in which it was not that fancy to work if you were a consultant. Now they can sit in a separate room in which they are not disturbed. We didn't have a lot of meeting rooms, which we also created now. The kitchen is extended. It's a multi-purpose kitchen, so you can work in the kitchen. You have the tribune area. We installed lockers, which is used by most of the people, because some of the people come by bike, and then they can leave their laptops here if they come the day after. We optimized the space we have. It's not that big here, if you compare it to the number of people we are, but we used it in an optimal way.
For us, it's really important to deliver something that is great for you and your people. And we figured a way to do that is indeed get them on board, listen to them. We did these online surveys where everyone, had their opinions and needs and wishes. We also had the workshop, and then we had the slide deck that maybe you were able to share with people. Can you tell, how was it from your side? Just going through the collaborative process?
The office redesign before was actually, we took it in our own hands. And since we're ITers, we know what the project is, but we don't know what the renovation project is. If I look back at the first time we renovated the space here, it was more or less, we're going to set up some walls, we're going to paint them, we invite a furniture supplier. They draw something, one A4 of paper. We put everything in and we're done.
Very startup mindset, just okay, we need walls, we need furniture, let's do it.
And if you then sitting in the room, you see that it wasn't really thought through. Working with you guys, I compared it with an IT project. You have the change management, we have the project management. you're informed, you have the team meetings, and you took us through the complete process step by step, like we do an IT project, and it worked.
I want to know about the story about no logo of Crosspoint in the whole space. I find it really interesting and cool. So can you say something on that?
Crosspoint is a holding company, which states that we're the shareholder of the daughter companies. We have a facilitating role towards them. So we don't want to be present in the building. It's their building. And if they don't have their logos anywhere, we don't have our logo anywhere. We're just not important in the complete philosophy of Kronos. It's the most important thing is the daughter company, their well-being, and helping them get successful.
Do you remember any first-time reactions? Like as people were coming through the door, maybe you overheard something, or maybe someone sent a little note, or is there something that you remember?
From the consultants?
Yeah, like whoever was coming through the door, like seeing, oh, this space is now different.
Most of the time they said nothing. And they just looked around.
Okay, they were like, am I on the right floor?
Yeah, they couldn't, they were amazed by the transformation of the floor. If you look at where we come from and what it is now, most of them were like, oh, and then they looked around and they said, oh, it's nice here, and then the different chairs and the colors match. Yeah, you did a nice job.
So I have a couple last two questions. So first, what do you think the office of the future will look like?
In my opinion, there is no office of the future. There is a meet-up place of the future, a co-create place of the future, a place where people come to meet, to sit and to chat. I think that they want to have the same feeling at the workspace as that they have at home. I'm not saying that they're going to work less, and they're going to work differently. They're going to choose where they work, how they work, which toolings that they work, and they choose. By choosing where they work, they are also going to choose in which office that they work. I don't think there will be a fixed office anymore. It will be more working spaces, working spots which you can rent or which you can reserve, and you work there depending on where you were last night or where you have to be in 2 days, and that will be the change, I think. And if you then look at our office now, it's just a meeting place, some kind of campus like you have at school, in which you come together and you try to make from 1 + 1 is 3 by coming here, and that's the inspiring office that you have to create, and I think we did it.
Amazing, thank you. I have a last question for you. So for leaders out there who might consider, should I do something with my workspace? Is it worth it? How do I go about it? Do you have some tips now that you have gone through the whole process and you were there as well, maybe with some dreams and fears, and then we went through the process. Now we are here. Would you have some tips?
If you're struggling with the war for talent, and I would recommend to do a revamp of your office and think about what I said earlier, and try to involve your people or the target group you have of people. Try to involve them and try to listen to them and create the environment in which they want to work. It will be stimulating, motivating, and they will carry out in their families and privates towards other people who will hear it and who will take it in, and perhaps they will come to your office to work and to solicit.
Amazing. So really like referral through giving a great space and people are happy.
If I look here now at Kronos, everybody knows about our office now. There are more people coming here to meet than ever before. And I think it's linked to the revamp we did of the office, because it's nice to work here, nice to meet here, nice to co-create here. So I think it's a benefit which we can play out towards the market in function of customers and new employees.
Amazing. Really cool. This is the first time I'm hearing this part as well. So not only the team benefits, but as well people who want to come here, then of course they know about you and they are friendly because they want to come use the space, and probably some ideas might get exchanged or contacts.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
And then you have the aquarium, man.
Of course.
Which they all talk about. In combination with the revamp of the floor.
We're gonna have to have a look at it, I think, when I go check it out later. Amazing. Hey, thank you so much. We did it.